out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Kansas Speedway, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series is finally ready to get the playoffs underway right here in America's heartland. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Kansas Speedway. As I had just mentioned, I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and we have finally made it here to the playoffs. We've been waiting since February to watch these drivers come out here and finally put their money where their mouth is and get things done here in the round of 12. We've got 12 drivers who made the cut. You're going to see those names in just a few minutes. But right now, as we get underway, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be, and however you may be listening. I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone, working the ones and twos and everything in between, and I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, thank you for tuning in, and of course coming over to the youtube.com live chat. Let us know who you're cheering for, what you're watching tonight, what you're listening for, and of course make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications, as of course all of those things can help more and more folks get their eyeballs to what your friends and family are doing here on the racetrack tonight. As I had mentioned, here we are finally in the round of 12, and I cannot tell you how excited I am, because, I mean, listen, we have been waiting. It's been months. We've gotten through that cold winter, the early spring, the dog days of summer, and now as things are cooling off here, as we get ready to head into October, that's when things start to heat up here on Monday Night NASCAR. As we take a look at our race information, we can see exactly what's going on here on the racetrack. 103 degrees, that's the track temperature, as it's in the 80s in the sim racing outdoor ambient air temperature. And, you know, here's the thing. We're going to see that track temperature fluctuate a lot during this race. Clear conditions, that means that the sun is going to be beating down on this asphalt, even as drivers are out here turning their qualifying laps. In fact, 38 drivers have already logged a qualifying lap. Ethan Ball, we can see down here on the racetrack, laying his right now. And, you know, there may not be enough space on the racetrack for everyone tonight when the green flag flies. Parker Retzlaff right now, he leads the timing line tonight here at Kansas, and he also owns the point standings as he comes into tonight with more wins, more laps led, more everything than anybody here in this league. And, you know, quite frankly, I'm excited to watch him go out here and win a championship. Of course, Parker's going to sit here with 10 wins on the season, 11 top fives, 11 top tens. So, you know, out of all of the races he's run, he's basically either won or come darn near close to it. In fact, all season long, as we get a chance to look at some of his more detailed stats, Parker Retzlaff has 15 total starts. That means only 5 races did he not win. And out of those 5 races, he still had an average start of 3.4 and an average finish of 7.9. It's incredible to watch what Parker has done. And, of course, you know, it's easy to say that when you realize that Parker races in real life every Saturday in the Real Life Xfinity Series. You know, so, of course, you can check that out right now over on NBC. And I almost said UPN, but now it's something completely different, the CW. So you can always check in with him. Eugenio Alonso, he sits P2. Now, Eugenio hasn't been around for a little while, but he's got 3 wins on the season, a lot of consistency, and I'm looking to see if Eugenio has made it to the track tonight, and he has not. So he may be one of the first drivers to be cut from the playoffs when we go down to that next round of 8. However, all of the attention right now going to the drivers that are here. Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma, he sits in 3rd. Mikey Mac McConville out of South Jersey, he sits in 4th position. Trent Curtis, Sylvain Jolie, one of our neighbors from the north. Chattanooga, Tennessee's Bennett Allen, our 2022 MNN Xfinity Series champion, he sits 7th. Ethan Ball was seated to the 8th spot. Brock Packard and Alexander Gangler driving my old car number. That's the old 8 right there. A tip of the cap to Troy Kenneth Aikman. He sits in 10th with Nick Hansen and Dennis Mickelson rounding out your round of 12 drivers. And I'll tell you what, all 12 of these drivers have earned their way into these spots. Nobody here, you know, waltzed in here. I mean, you know, even Parker, as skilled as he is, had a lot to do, you know, to get to this point, because the competition in this league is fierce. We see it all the time, and we've seen it all season long. And in fact, let's see if we can get a hold of Parker, if he's sitting in race chat right now. Going to move him down on here. Hey, Parker, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Buddy, listen, here it is, the round of 12, and you come steaming in here with 10 wins on the season. What's going to be the strategy here as we get ready to rock and roll in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just to go back to how it was during the regular season. I've had a couple weeks where I've put myself in mistakes and, you know, haven't had the finishes I feel like we deserved. So it's just going to go back to how we were in the regular season and just try and get locked into the round of 8 tonight and keep moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you have done a lot of good work here with the Funkaway Chevrolet, of course, as I see you rolling off pit road here. What's going to be the strategy tonight at Kansas? I mean, this is kind of a different animal, but something tells me that you're about to lap half the field.
Yeah, I mean, my plan is to practice a lot for this race. So my plan is to hopefully win both stages and win the race, and have fun the next 2 weeks after this. So we'll see. There's these races are hard. It's definitely not just a guaranteed win every night. So there's probably 10 cars every any given night here. So.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, I don't want to hold you up any longer. So good luck tonight, and maybe we'll see you on the other side. And something tells me we certainly will.
Thank you.
So we're going to move him back on up into the road channel here. We appreciate all of the time that each of our drivers gives us, especially because they've got a lot of work that they put in every week. And, of course, the next driver, and I feel like I talk to this guy every week, but we're going to go up here and have a quick chat with Ferda Motorsports' very own Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Dave.
Buddy, listen, here we are, the Xfinity Series playoffs. You're coming in here third seed behind Eugenio, but Eugenio's not here. So what's going to be the team orders here for Ferda Motorsports?
Mostly just survive. I thought Eugenio was here, but I see him on the track right now.
Well, then I lied.
But yeah, trying to survive, try to get as many points as we can. That's Parker Retzlaff. He has such a huge lead. It's almost going to be like a fight for second place. But in the playoffs, anything can happen. So just try to get as many points as I can to just advance to the next rounds and hopefully make it to the Final Four, and then anything can happen in that final race.
Without a doubt, my friend. Well, listen, good luck tonight. Of course, I know that it's going to be a tight race. I'm sure that you're going to be out there gunning for Parker Retzlaff as he gets ready to rock and roll tonight. So I'm excited to see what kind of a show you guys put on. Last night, we ran every lap green with the exception of, the stage caution. So let's see if we can put that together tonight.
Oh, that'd be nice to have some green flags around in here.
All right, man. Good luck.
Thanks, Dave.
That, of course, the voice of Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma. I'm sure that Uncle Scott is tuned in and ready to roll here on the YouTube.com live chat. Let's see if we can get a hold of Joe Gibbs Racing's very own Matt Metler, also my broadcast partner extraordinaire, one of the two voices of Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action. Hey, buddy. How you feeling?
I qualified 23rd. I feel like I've run the race already. I could just park this thing and go home, man.
It's probably a smart decision if you did decide to park that thing and go home with a 23rd. With a 23rd. Oh, look, you're my mom's favorite driver. You know what? I said it yesterday, and I forgot to mention this. I know that, usually Samuelson is apparently my sister's favorite driver, even though she doesn't like dudes. But if there's anybody else on the racetrack, I'm glad that it's you that's my mom's favorite driver.
Well, first and foremost, I got to thank Ryan Samuelson for giving me the idea. So I just spun off of what he already started. So I can't take all the credit for it. But hey, why not? We're broadcast partners. I'm not trying to go, to the SNN Links with this, of course, but or SNN Saturday Night Live.
Oh, good Lord. That could get real scary real fast.
It could.
But listen, here we are at Kansas tonight. It's going to be a long one. What are you thinking, and what's going to be the strategy here as you get the 64 ready to roll?
Well, I can tell you from ISNF on Sunday morning, before things went bad with the net, the track was really greasy. Tire management was a big part of it, especially if you overcooked the right front. So being patient on the throttle, especially coming off of 4, and then just racing the racetrack. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're pushing yourself beyond your means, and that's something I'm really focused on tonight. And I think if I can just do that, stay out of harm's way out there, I think we can come home with something hopefully inside the top 20. That's what I'm shooting for.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, and of course, I don't want to peel back the curtain too far, but after our conversation earlier, I said I told you before I went on the air that it twitched the moment that you told me that you're going to try to get to Miami. I am so stoked. I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks.
Well, I can't either, and you're probably going to kill me, but that's okay.
That's fine. I will kill you with a large man's hug. It will be fine.
Well, that in a large amount of Long Island's.
Yes, and tonight's entertainment is going to be brought to you by Basil Hayden. He sits next to me here on the desk.
See, that's my point. I got to get practicing on multiple fronts.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Well, listen, get in the car. Let's get ready to rock and roll.
You got it, brother. Have a good call up top.
Absolutely. That the voice of Matt Metler, my Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series partner extraordinaire. As we get ready to roll here, let's take a look at our starting lineup. Brought to you by Premier Racing Setups. Parker Retzlaff going to sit on the pole position. He's going to be joined on the front row by Jeremy Brown. Jacob Bradley in his debut race here going to be starting on the inside of row number 2 with Tyler Chalk to the outside. Row 3 featuring Brandon Minto and Claude Ferland, one of our neighbors from the north, as Christopher Tate and Trevor Ryan start in row 4. Rounding out your starting top 10 is Mike McConville and Bennett Allen in row number 5, while Zach Osborne and Tyler Divinanzo, I finally got it right, going to be starting in row number 6. Row number 7 going to be Brock Packard and Nick Hansen mbopping his way through the field, as Anthony Savignano and Gabriel Lafreniere going to be in row number 8. Starting 17th and 18th are Ron Fitting and Dennis Mickelson, while Kavaja Holt and Trent Curtis hold things together in 19th and 20th. Michael Pilardi and Sylvain Joly going to be in row number 11, while my partner Matt Metler and Derek Bacorn are going to be in row number 12. Row 13 is Ethan Ball and Zachary Vaughn, with Michael Witt and Mr. 305 himself, Randall Watkins, in row number 14. Keith Black and Chris Claude going to be in row 15, while 30th and 31st and 32nd go to Alexander Gangler and Dan Morgan. Richard Pruitt and Curtis Sawyer start in 33rd and 34th, while 35th and 36th go to Tony Burt and Eugenio Alonso, 2 teammates out of the same stable. And starting shotgun on the field tonight is going to be Sam Bolin and Noah Rainwater. 200 laps the scheduled distance tonight. Parker Retzlaff with control of the field as we get ready to run here at Kansas Speedway. We work our way all the way into turn 4 already. The iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab a handful of honey buns and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, and off we go on lap number 1. Drivers going side by side into turns 1 and 2, and as they roll out of 2, already Jacob Bradley slides in front of Parker Retzlaff. They go drag racing down the American Ethanol backstretch into turn number 3, and Parker Retzlaff with the edge coming into turn 3. A good rotation out of the 5 as he's able to sling it out of 4 in front of Jacob Bradley as they hit the apron and cross the start-finish line. Parker Retzlaff going to get credit for leading lap number 1. Your playoff drivers are going to be highlighted in purple here to the left of your screen, so you can keep an eye on your favorite playoff driver. And, of course, let us know in the YouTube.com live chat who you're cheering for. Tyler Chalk here in the 97. He works the high side on the Kubota machine over top of Mikey Mac McConville and the 46 of Jeremy Brown just in front of him. Now Chalk has the 97 drawing just a little bit closer to Brown in front of him as they nearly go 3 wide. Watch the 18 just below. That's Trevor Ryan. And Trevor Ryan looks to squeeze his way right here to the rear as they do go 3 wide. That puts the 46, the meat in that sandwich, Jeremy Brown, holding on to it as we look from above. The blimp has a perfect view of this. Here we are on lap number 3, already battling it out 3 wide, but these drivers, they're skilled enough to try to keep this thing clean. We watched all of those laps last night, 267 of them as a matter of fact, go green the entire time, and I'm looking forward to hoping that we see a lot of the same tonight as we work here on lap number 4. Side by side they go. We drop back here to Anthony Savignano in that 50-cent piece. Whoa! The 16 of Zach Osborne bobbles in front of him, and the 63 of Brock Packard works the low side. He's holding on to it pretty tight right now as maybe, a little bit of anxious energy here. We stay green, a rub of the wall. Everybody scurries away and manages to get through that, and there's the caution. Looking to see who fell off pace by chance. Let's see who it might have been. And I don't see. Let's see what it might have been. Claude Furland here already jumped to the pits. Let's see what might have happened and hope that the computer was drawing it. There's a rub for Claude Furland. We go on by, so that wasn't the initial wreck that brought out the caution. There's got to be something else here. And timing and scoring doesn't have it, so it's a phantom wreck. 6 laps in the books, and we're under caution already here at Kansas Speedway. Taking a look at the YouTube.com live chat, we see Scott Minto. There's Uncle Scott. Cheers, Uncle Scott, as he's cheering on Brandon. And, of course, Richard Putnam, he's also cheering on Brandon Minto. And then Mama Mac McConville, she's in here saying, let's go, Mikey Mac. Listen, that's my lady down there in Cape May. She is always here cheering on her boy, Mikey Mac McConville, who's currently running in 6th position right now. As we get a quick look here, let's see if we can pull up Mikey Mac and see what he's doing tonight, or what he thinks he's doing. Mikey Mac, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. How we doing, buddy?
Buddy, I'm good. Here you are getting ready to rock and roll as finally we had a caution. We didn't have any last night, and now after 6 laps tonight, we go under caution. What's going on down there in the racetrack? What are you sniffing?
I'm sniffing. We got a hot rod tonight. I was doing a lot of practice today. I probably put in 150, almost 200 laps today for this race. And I thought we were going to be really good on the short run, but it felt like we got a sporty beast on the short, going to be good on the long run, excuse me. But it seems like we might got a sporty beast on the short run as well. So that 5 car better be watching out for this damn 1 car, because I'm coming.
You know, you say that, and yet somehow Parker always manages to clown you. I'm just calling a spade a spade.
The emotions have changed. I'm no longer here to make friends. We're here to win a championship at the end of the season, and if he wants to play clown games, we can go to the circus.
Oh, there he goes. All of a sudden, he gets that WWE microphone out and just calls out Parker Retzlaff. Mikey Mac McConville getting ready to strap a V-plow as if he works for NJ Dot.
Yes, sir. Speaking of which, not to call him out anymore, but I don't see any purple rear spoiler on that 5 car. That should be a points penalty.
You're going to have to go to race control about that. I don't work in race control. I just drink and watch the race.
Fair enough.
All right, brother man. Listen, good luck the rest of the way. We'll see you on the other side.
Appreciate you, brother. Hopefully we talk to you in Victory Lane tonight.
My man, pots and pans. Get her done.
Yes, sir.
And hopping into the broadcast booth now is Mr. Matt Metler. What are you doing up here?
Well, since everyone left me behind the Joe Gibbs chat, I just figured I'd sit up here and stay muted because I have those powers.
All right, well, then we will pretend that you're not here.
You got it, brother.
8 laps in the books. Parker Retzlaff with control of the field. He's got Jacob Bradley to the high side. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Parker Retzlaff comes into the Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and off we go. Green, green, green on lap number 9.
4.6, 3, 1. Car inside. Still there, still there.
Watching Tyler Divinanzo here. He's got himself in the 61 machine as cranked up as he can right now. He's trying to get himself to the high side of Brock Packard and now sees the 16 of Zach Osborne running just in front of him. And Osborne might get gobbled up by the 61 and the 63. He slides in front of the 61, which may take some of that momentum away. It does for just a moment, but all of a sudden we go 3 wide here in a battle for 8th position. The 16 now holding him off, and sorry, that's 9th position. The 16 now holding off both the 61 and the 63 as he tries to draft himself up to the rear of Bennett Allen. Now the 16 of Zach Osborne melts backwards. That's not the right way to go. God, and here they go. The 63 and the 16 make contact. They get down to the apron. Nobody goes sideways. We stay green. Parker Retzlaff starts to run away now from Christopher Tate and Jacob Bradley. Tate already up 5 positions, running in 2nd right now after qualifying in 7th. And right now it just seems like he is coming a Helen for Parker Retzlaff as he just laid fast time down at 31.58 seconds.
5.
Watching Gabriel Lafreniere here in the 06 Oxmoor Chevrolet Camaro. That's not Oxmoor. I don't know what the heck that is on the side of his car. Maybe a quick refresh of the paints here. I hate to do that while we're live.
Car inside.
But here it goes.
Stay high. Clear.
There it is. That is the 06 Oxmoor Chevrolet Camaro.
Ringside.
I knew something was missing.
High.
As we take another look, there's Bennett Allen running in 7th position right now. And I'm just going to take that down a little bit. And Matt, I can still hear you, but I had to turn your radio down. As Parker Retzloff runs in the lead right now, he's starting to open things up about 3/4 of a second ahead of Christopher Tate in what's now apparently a primer gray car. 2 primer gray cars. There's one. There's Tate coming back. There's Retzloff in the Funkaway Chevrolet. And Mike McConville now runs the 1 machine in 5th position. He's climbed his way up into the top 5 after qualifying in 9th. And we're going to take a look back here just a little bit of the way on our booth partner. There's the 64 of Matt Mettler holding off the 63 of Brock Packard. Packard all over the rear bumper of the 64, and now Packard slings to the inside, almost takes it 3 wide. The 67 of Sam Bolin nearly takes him out, and there goes Brock Packard, loose as a goose, as it looked like Bolin wanted no parts of that. Let's go back to the replay, as Packard may have bit off more than he could chew here. Watch him go to the inside. Bolin comes down and just noses him into the grass. It upsets the 63, and he goes for a ride through the grass and the apron. Now has himself running in 28th spot after qualifying 13th. As Parker Retzloff, our race leader, now almost out to a 1-second lead. Dennis Mickelson is side by side in the 25 with the 15. That's the B-Blaze Vintage Ford Mustang of Bennett Allen. And almost bump drafting down the backstretch is the 61 of Tyler Divinanzo, pushing around the 18 of Trevor Ryan as they work over top of the 50 of Anthony Savignano. "17 laps in the books." I want to remind everybody that our total distance is 200 laps, but stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 45. Stage 2 going to end after lap number 90. Driver's going to have 5 total sets of... contact between the 15 and the 50. Good Jesus. Let's go back to this. That was not very polite from the 15. Watch the 15 come right up behind the 50 and just nose him. And there's the thanks and gratitude as we're going to go onto the nose. And it was just a checkup, and Bennett didn't know that it was happening. I had my microphone locked up the entire time. Nobody heard a darn thing I said. And as I was saying, Eugenio Alonso in here with his hands all over the steering wheel. In fact, let's go to the cockpit cam. He's got a helmet cam tonight. You can see how busy Eugenio's hands are. I mean, good Lord, this race car is all kinds of loose. His hands are busier than a cucumber in a woman's prison as we work lap number 24, and he is really trying to slide it in here. Eugenio Alonso, one of the most talented drivers that I've ever seen, and you would think, being from Buenos Aires, that, you know, maybe he would be a little bit more attuned to road course driving or things like that, but he tells me all the time that he loves racing the ovals, he loves the stock car racing, which is something they didn't really have, you know, where he grew up. So to me, that's just NASCAR, you know, basically kidnapping another fan and holding them at gunpoint, saying you will like this sport and you will enjoy it. Randall Watkins having some kind of problem back here. Let's see if we can find him. Sounded like he was having trouble holding on to it. Let's take a look at the replay and see what might have happened, and it looks like we may not get it. The cameraman may not have been available for that particular angle. But Randall Watkins, Mr. 305, he sits high, wide, and handsome in 26th position right now in front of Keith Black. About 0.3 of a second in a three-way battle now for what is somewhere in and around 25th position as they are just shuffling around. All of a sudden, Parker Retzlaff out to only, well, just less than 0.2 of a second over Jacob Bradley. And Bradley here in the lows, number 60, is really starting to chase him down. And this is kind of a hot and heavy battle for this early in the race. Twenty-seven laps in the books. Let's take a peek here at the battle between the 13 and the 15. That's Trent Curtis on the high side, Bennett Allen to the low side. And as we take a quick gander coming through the tri-oval, crossing the start-finish line, it looks like Curtis has a good run here on entry, but Bennett is just able to knife right under the 13 without even blinking. I mean, he is one of these drivers that will give you fits as you try to get around him. You know, you can get up to Bennett, but passing him is a completely different ball game. And speaking of ball games, I know that not too many of you care, and I'm sure that somebody's got something smart to say, but I do want to have a brief moment of silence here to celebrate the life and remember Pete Rose, who passed away just a short time ago, less than 2 hours ago in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati native should be Hall of Famer with 4,256 hits, banned from baseball so many years ago, and now has served his sentence as it was a lifetime ban, and now that lifetime has come to an end. "31 laps in the books here. We thank you for that moment of silence for Pete Rose. Also, Dikembe Mutombo passing away today. Parker Retzlaff with just an 0.8 of a second lead over Jacob Bradley. It's almost like maybe he was cooling things down, and Bradley thought that maybe he'd get up there and get around Parker, but we know better. Christopher Tate and Mike McConville now locked in a battle for third position. Mike McConville has now quietly gotten up here into the top 3. And maybe this is the night for Mikey Mack. Maybe this is where he finally punches that ticket, getting himself into the next round of the playoffs. Of course, he's already in this round. But, I mean, right now, we can see a smattering of these playoff drivers in our top 10. Retzlaff, McConville, Minto, Allen, and Mickelson. And, you know, this is the kind of race where you got to go out there and make your statement, make it early, and make it often. Or maybe that's vote early and vote often. I don't know. Nick Hansen here in the 99 Oktoberfest machine working to the inside of Matt Mettler. Mettler holding on right now to that 25th slot in the Kraken Dark Horse Mustang. That is a sharp paint scheme, buddy. I know you're listening and nobody else can hear you, but good grading. That is a sharp, that is a nice paint scheme, let me tell you. Then looking further back up in the field, here's the 0-0 of Kavaja Holt. Kavaja getting around Eugenio Alonso. As we wait to see if Kavaja's going to be able to draw in on Ron Fitting. He runs in 14th position. We'll go on board with Kavaja. And it looks like he's going to just kind of stay where he is for the time being. Kavaja not a playoff driver here in the Xfinity Series. He is during the Cup Series. We saw that last night as they've now crossed into their round of 12. Of course, the Cup Series starts at a round of 16. But now Kavaja starting to work just a little bit closer. Ooh, loose just up in front of him. Can't see who that might have been. That might have been the 13 of Trent Curtis. Getting a little bit loose, a little bit of tire smoke there out of the Garmin number 13 Chevrolet. That opens the door for Ron Fitting as we go on board with Fitting. Fitting being very ginger on that throttle as he gets a good rotation, but nearly breaks loose coming out of 4. And there's a whole lot of torque that's at the rear end of these Xfinity Series cars. So that becomes incredibly dangerous for the drivers if you get back on that throttle too much. You're going to wind up watching the rear end spin around on you like a ballerina. Christopher Tate now side by side with the 18 of Trevor Ryan as they're locked in a battle for 4th position. We'll get the battle box out and take a peek. Mike McConville has now gotten around Christopher Tate and Trevor Ryan and now runs in 3rd position. Let's go up here with Mikey Mack while he rides around. And right now he's kind of in a good position to just get this over with about 7 laps to go here in stage number 1. Mike McConville runs in 3rd. Parker Retzlaff leads this piece. Brandon Minto, another playoff driver. I mean, this is your top 3 of your playoff driver, well, top 5 of your playoff drivers, so as it is. And here's Brandon Minto. There he is running in 6th position. Here's Ethan Ball. Ball running in 9th. And the caution comes out here early. And someone sounds very angry on race radio.
Mr. 305's madder than a Keebler elf and got promoted to fudge back.
Sure sounds that way, buddy. Let's take a look at the replay here. There's the 27 just in front of... Oh! Wow. And this might have even been a case of netcode. Let's just pause this in midair. I hate to do this, but I've got to see this closer. Where's that chase cam? Let's watch this because something tells me they didn't make... if they made contact, it was by just such a small amount. Let's try this again. Quarter speed. They just barely made contact. And as you heard from my broadcast partner extraordinaire, madder than a Keebler elf getting demoted to Fudge Packer, and then all kinds of bad things happen. Now, of course, it's going to be wholesale pit stops here, as this is not the end of stage number 1. So we're probably going to have, let's see, about 2 laps left in stage 1 to decide who wins it. We're going to step aside and pay a couple of quick bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Monday Night NASCAR.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Kansas Raceway as we get back underway here. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones as we're ready to go back green flag racing. This is just the second caution for cause of the evening. When we go back green flag racing, we're going to have 2 laps to go in stage number 1. More than half the field came down pit road for service this time, so there's definitely a chance here. It's going to be Minto Chalk, Kavaja Holt, Ethan Ball, Michael Witt, John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, Parker Retzloff, Sylvain Jolie, my man Matt Mettler, and Jacob Bradley. That's your top 10. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Brandon Minto creeps his way into the Geico restart zone. We're going to watch the rear end of that 12 car squat down to the ground, and off he goes. Oh, we've got a bottleneck on the low side. They're going to wreck. And here they are wrecking at the start-finish line. We stay green, though, because everybody went down to the grass. That opens the door for some of these other drivers to get out of the way. Matt Mettler slides back into 11th. He's now the high side, 3 wide. And the 18 squeezes out of that disaster. Let's take a look here from the perspective of the 18. Good Lord, the Irwin, PA native in the U.S. Steel number 18 machine. Drafting just up behind Jacob Bradley, and now the 42 of Christopher Tate. Trevor Ryan now catching. Oh, contact. Oh, they are everywhere. It's nearly 4 wide. Bad things happening everywhere, and right now the driver who I would want to be right now is Matt Mettler. He's got plenty of real estate around and behind him, which is just enough reaction time just in case something bad happens and the proverbial dynamite goes boom right in his face. But as we cross the start-finish line, that will conclude stage number 1 as Brandon Minto captures the green and white checkered, Parker Retzloff captures the green and white checkered flag. He's followed by Brandon Minto, Christopher Tate, Tyler Chalk, Kavaja Holt, Mike McConville, Jacob Bradley, Anthony Savignano, Ethan Ball, Curtis Sawyer, and that is your top 10. As, of course, suddenly I couldn't count to 10. Now, Parker was just down pit road, so he shouldn't be coming down this time. So we'll see if we can quick get a chat with him. Hey, Parker, it's Dave. You got me?
Yeah, I got you. You scared me a little bit, but I got
sorry. My bad. Listen, man, the end of stage 1, you were pretty dominant most of this run. I mean, at one point, I saw you letting the 60 get a little bit closer to you, but then you just started to pull away. Were you just kind of trying to save your equipment, or was he really reeling you in?
Oh, no, he was good in the middle part of that run there, but I think he just he went a little bit too hard to try and catch me. I think if he was just more patient through the whole stage, he probably would have had the hair to come catch me, but he used it up so much to try and just get there. So I realized my mistakes there in the first stage, and I didn't make any adjustments. I'm going to make it better with my driving.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, good luck here in stage 2. We'll be back underway in just a few moments, but congrats on the green and white checkered flag as you make your playoff push deeper and deeper now.
Thank you.
That, of course, the voice of Parker Retzloff. We're going to get a chance in just a moment here to chat with Mikey Mack. In fact, Mikey came down. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. I hate to go back to the same guys, but they're all doing the same thing. Let's get a hold of Mikey Mack. Yo, Mikey, it's Dave.
Yo, what's up?
Buddy, listen, that was a strong finish here for stage 2. I mean, listen, I was watching you creep up here. I mean, like, you were sneaky good, like SEAL Team 6 kind of stuff.
Yeah, dude. Literally my favorite TV show right now, sadly it's coming to an end next week, is SEAL Team. And the best thing is being sneaky. So that's what we plan to be tonight. We're going to be sneaky good.
Buddy, I was watching you start to crawl through, and I looked up, and I'm like, hey, look, there he is, 6th position, 5th, 4th, 3rd. I mean, listen, that's the way you got to do this, and you were very conservative, but still, I know that you're a mad scientist when it comes to these setups. How long does it take you to from soup to nuts to get a setup tuned in just right?
From basic ingredients to what we got tonight, it really depends on the track, honestly. Like tonight, it took me most of the week because there's such a variable change with the weather. It's either really grippy or really slick, and you're kind of throwing darts at a dartboard on what the track's going to be like. And it seems like we hit it. We got a lot of grip. All the guys are complaining about it being a little tight, actually, with how much grip we have. But that's easily fixed. I'm telling them what to do. The whole TCR team should be in the top 10 tonight, if they can stay out of trouble.
That's the hard part, staying out of trouble. Well, listen, buddy, keep your nose clean. Good luck, and thank you for the insight. We appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Since you got a bird's eye view, can I ask you a quick question?
Absolutely.
What happened on that restart?
Bad things. It looked like Frank Yankovic was out there playing his accordion and got a little crossed up.
Oh, so what you're saying is it looked like Jalen Hurts against the Buccaneers.
Oh. I wasn't even going to say it. But but since I wasn't going to say it, I'm going to say it now. Look, I know that usually I'm, one of these people that doesn't like to beat up on other sports fans, but man, what a mess.
Look, there's nothing that any other sports fan can say about us Philly fans that we don't already say to ourselves.
Buddy, I get it. Well, listen, congrats on the stage 1 finish, and good luck here in stage 2.
Appreciate it. Wasn't as good as it should have been, but we're going to make it even better in stage 2.
I get it, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Going to get him moved back on up here into the JAR TCR stable. We thank him for his time as always as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Line it up 2x2 Noah's Ark style. Parker Retzlaff, Christopher Tate, Mike McConville, Jacob Bradley, Curtis Sawyer, Trevor Ryan, Dennis Mickelson, Richard Pruitt, Zachary Vaughn, and Gabriel Lafreniere. Parker Retzlaff brings the field into the Geico restart zone. Here we are, stage number 2 on lap number 50. Off we go. Does anybody know how good Rita's Swedish Fish, Italian Ice, and Bourbon taste together? Asking for a friend. And if you don't know what Rita's Italian Ice is, come to the Philadelphia area. It's fabulous. By the way, Rita's Italian Ice and Bourbon is delicious. Here we are, Jacob Bradley working the high side over top of the 42. That's Christopher Tate and Curtis Sawyer. Watching Curtis Sawyer here on the low side. Now he starts to work his way as he crosses it up and comes high. In the WeatherTech 03, all of a sudden he gets a run here over top of Christopher Tate and starts to scurry away. Now Christopher Tate has to hold off the U.S. Steel number 18 of Trevor Ryan. Ryan, of course, sporting that U.S. Steel. He's from Irwin, Pennsylvania, just toward the western end of the state, near Pittsburgh, so I'm assuming he's a Steelers and Penguins fan. And I mean, if he's a Pirates fan, I apologize. I can't even be mad at them. As we go 3 wide here, Kavaja Holtz gets away now from the 87 of Keith Black. And now all of a sudden it's the Kavaja and Bennett Allen show. These are two names that we've been calling for a long time in this league. And these two veteran drivers are now chasing down Matt Mettler like he owes them lunch money. But look back here at this mess behind them. I mean, this is rush hour on the Schuylkill Expressway. The 99 of Nick Hansen now sits to the rear of everybody. And as he looks from his perspective, I mean, this is just simply a mess. If I was him, I'd probably start to try to back off just a little bit and give some room to these drivers, or at least some reaction time to myself. But Nick Hansen wants to shove one in here as he gets ready to give it the old Hawk Tua and follows the 88 of Michael Witt. Nick Hansen now running out of turn number 2 as we head down the back chute. Everybody's starting to go single file here in stage number 2. 55 laps in the books. We're on our way to lap number 90. So 45 to go this time by as we look here at the 87 of Keith Black. They're still trying to figure out where to park one another as we go on board with Chris Claude now. Claude gets a shot of this from behind as he runs right now in 25th position. They go 3 wide in front of him. The 87 backs out almost immediately. He doesn't want any parts of this. And that's the sign of a smart driver. Keith Black knows that he can be up here and he can be competitive just in front of Chris Claude. But he doesn't want to do anything that's greedy or, let's just say it, stupid and, cause a wreck, especially if you're going to be right in front of the boss man here in the SNN Family of Racing Series. Chris Claude now running in 26th position as he slides back a little bit further, even though he qualified back in 30th position. We take a look back at our leaders here. Parker now leads, or I'm sorry, Mike McConville now leads Parker Retzloff. And as I said earlier, Mike McConville is one of these guys. He's been creepy quiet all night, just kind of creeping his way through the field, and I'm looking to see when he might have made that pass. And it must have been a while. At least somewhere in the last few laps while we were looking elsewhere. But all of a sudden, here it is, Mike McConville, our race leader out of Cape May, New Jersey, charging to the front. And now they're battling behind him, and Mike McConville, this may be his night. Tyler Chalk in the 97 running right now in 13th position. And he sits just behind Bennett Allen and Brandon Minto. There's the 91 of Zachary Vaughn. Parker Retzloff under attack here from the 18 of Trevor Ryan. Now, the interesting thing there is that while they're battling here behind Mike McConville, that's allowing McConville now to build a lead while the 18 and the 5 go at it behind him. They're like two kids in the back of the family station wagon. And folks, a station wagon, especially kids, here we are, story time with Uncle Dave. Oh, what a shot from the 5 to the 18. Let's watch that again. That was impressive on every lap. That was impressive in every sense of the term. Here's the 18. And he almost stole a bump draft and just got shoved up here to where Mike McConville is. Now that is some darn fine racing as we go up here. And that took Mike McConville's lead and shrank it just a little bit. But still 0.4 of a second from McConville to Ryan, and now 0.3 of a second from Ryan to Parker. And something tells me that Parker's one of these drivers that we can almost trust and believe that he's got something up his sleeve for later on in this stage. Side by side go the 91 and the 42. That's Zachary Vaughn on the high side in the Exxon machine. And he currently leads Christopher Tate now as they go door handle to door handle through turn 3 and 4. And as they roll out of 4, it looks like Tate's going to take 12th position away from Vaughn. They nearly make contact, but Vaughn just skilled enough to stay off of the bumper of Tate. As now they chase each other like two kids on the playground playing tag. Bennett Allen running right now in 11th position on the outside of the top 10, looking in at Tyler Chalk in the Kubota machine. And that Kubota Chevrolet is now cranked up and chasing down Brandon Minto. And as we look out the rear of Brandon Minto, we can see the Chalk getting a little loose here out of 2. Everybody seems to be dealing with something. I'm not sure if that's a wind speed issue. As we come across the start-finish line and dive into turn number 1, let's see what we can notice here from Tyler Chalk, because it looks like maybe he was dealing with just a little bit of push. Nope, that time he gets it just fine. Zachary Vaughn still sliding backwards as he now has been passed by Ron Fitting and Richard Pruitt. So not sure what's going on with the 91, but that cannot feel good for him. Jacob Bradley going side by side with Curtis Sawyer. That's the 60 and the 03, or the 03 and the 60, depending on how you look at it. As the WeatherTech machine battles it out with the Lowe's machine. And I think that says the Jimmy Johnson Foundation. Wrong Jimmy Johnson, though. If you're going to cheer for any kind of Jimmy Johnson, make sure that it's the retired former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. 2-time Super Bowl champion, just saying. Oh, one of those wins came against the Buffalo Bills. I don't know anybody who's a Bills fan. But if I did, I'd tell them I love them. Matt Mettler, of course, a member of Bills Mafia. Speaking of which, here he is driving in 26th position, holding on pretty well. Mettler running in 26th position, 3 back from where he started. Our biggest mover of the night so far is Curtis Sawyer running in 5th position after qualifying in 34th. And here he is as Mike McConville now has just a quarter-second lead over Trevor Ryan. It's almost like Trevor Ryan and Parker Retzlaff have linked up. And that's not going to be good for Mike McConville because you can hold off 1, but holding off 2 is really difficult at a place like Kansas as we move on past the Hollywood Casino and go down the back chute. Let's go on board with Parker Retzlaff. He burps that throttle early and he gets a really good rotation here and now peaks to the inside. This is where he's going to get a little bit of extra momentum as he swings out to the wall and then takes as big of a cut as he possibly can against the grass coming through the tri-oval and swinging it back out to the wall before making the entry into 1. It looks like McConville just gets a much better entry coming into 1 than almost anybody else on the racetrack right now. That thing is on rails as we work lap number 70. $20 to go in stage number 2 as we get a nice green flag run here. And that's something that a lot of these drivers really like to see, especially because they build these setups for the long run. And at a place like Kansas, you know, Kansas does not have the penchant to become a caution festival. This is not that kind of racetrack. So all things considered, these guys who built them for the long run, this is what they came here for tonight. You know, I know that it's frustrating when you build for the long run and then you wind, whoa, 3 wide. Packard gets out of that one, and speaking of which, watch the rotation here of the 63. He's going to, good save out of the 63. He's got his hands full right there for Brock Packard. You know, for these guys that, you know, okay, I'm set up for the long run, I'm set up for the short run, whatever. It almost always seems to break in the direction of the opposite of whatever you set your car up for. You know, Kansas Speedway is known for great green flag runs. It's known for not being very caution heavy because this is a nice wide sweeping racetrack. It's nothing crazy. But by the same token, and there's Parker Retzlaff trying to take the lead away from Mike McConville. Watch them go as they go side by side. Back onto the front stretch, McConville slides across the nose of the 1, and McConville can't hold on, and he has to watch Parker go skating away with the lead here. And about 16 laps to go in stage 2. And wow, an almost over rotation for the 5 as we come down the backstretch. Watch him go as we come into turn number 3. All of a sudden, this 3-way battle for the lead has heated back up, and it's a simmering as it seems like maybe Mike McConville overdrove the 1, and now he's starting to really start to defrost and cool off here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. You're watching Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series action right here on Sim Racing Media. I want to thank everybody for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, as we're now 15 to go here in stage number 2. Parker Retzlaff, your race leader, he's followed by Mike McConville and Trevor Ryan. And Trevor Ryan here in the U.S. Steel Machine is really trying to hold it together here, but he can't seem to get past that third place position. And, you know, he was either exchanging it with Parker Retzlaff or now he's still trying to steal away P2 from Mike McConville. Taking a peek over here at the YouTube.com live chat. I'm not seeing a whole lot of activity over there, folks. We've got Charlene McConville. That's Mama Mac. She's cheering on, of course, Mikey Mac up here, who runs right now P2 just ahead of Trevor Ryan, and the Michigan Rocker telling Brandon Minto to stay out of trouble. Jacob Bradley and Christopher, I'm sorry, I don't know who Dennis Tate is, but Jacob Bradley and Christopher Tate, they round out your top 5. Dennis Mickelson, Gabriel Lafreniere, Eugenio Alonso, Curtis Sawyer, and Brandon Minto. Those are your top 10 drivers for the time being. As we look a little further back here, we're starting to see some battles begin to brew as Gabriel Lafreniere now works to the inside of the 25 of Dennis Mickelson. And Mickelson holding on to that position, and they are fighting like cats and dogs back here. Watch the 0-3. That's Curtis Sawyer trying to take it 3 wide, and Minto just throws the block in front of him and says, "Not so fast, my friend." Dear old dad checking in via text, and of course, love note there from Honey Bun as we get rocking and rolling. There's Trent Curtis on the low side, just underneath Curtis Sawyer. Watch Curtis Sawyer. He's going to have to hold on to this real hard because Curtis is working him over. Oh, it's like a mob hitman who's after somebody for money. Jacob Bradley running in third position right now, starting to really get pressured here from Trevor Ryan as Ryan in the 18 trying to hold off Bradley. They're leaving McConville alone for the time being as we're now in the waning laps of stage 2. We're working our way toward lap number 90. Folks, make sure that you share our Facebook, YouTube page. See how many more folks you can get tuned in here on a Monday night. Although I would understand if they chose Troy Aikman and Joe Buck over me. To be fair, Troy Aikman is a world-class broadcaster and Hall of Fame quarterback. I am neither of those things. Zachary Vaughn running in 16th position right now. He's up 10. Curtis Sawyer still up 23. That's our biggest mover of the race in the plus direction. Biggest mover of the race in the wrong direction will be Tyler Divinanzo. He's down 26. No, I lied. Claude Ferland down 31 and not logging laps right now. That can't taste very good. 5 to go in stage number 2. Parker Retzlaff here with just 3 laps to go at the line. There we go. 3 laps to go here in stage number 2. Parker Retzlaff and Mike McConville duking it out here to see who it's going to be to capture that green and white checkered flag. .89 laps in the books. Parker Retzlaff not really being charged heavily by Mike McConville, but McConville trying to put a little bit of speed here on the one. He might think he has something, and that's where he kind of loses Parker. He doesn't get that draft in there, and if he could really try to square up with Parker, he might be able to pull in. And here he goes, taking a run for the lead on the final lap of stage number 2. But Parker just gets a great run out of turn number 2 here on lap 90. Parker Retzlaff rolls it out of turn number 4. And Retzlaff, as he comes out here and through the Geico restart zone, crosses the start-finish line. And that will be the end of stage number 2. As Parker Retzlaff, Mike McConville, Jacob Bradley, Trevor Ryan, Christopher Tate, Dennis Mickelson, Brandon Minto, Trent Curtis, Anthony Savignano, and Tyler Chalk, those are your top 10 drivers going to be awarded stage points here at the end of stage number 2. Pit lane is going to open, and after pit stops are completed, we'll get a chance to talk to our Stage 2 winner, Parker Retzlaff. Parker Retzloff coming down for 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast. He stays down on pit road a little extra here. And Jacob Bradley wins the race off of pit road. Mikey Mack comes off second. Christopher Tate third. Trevor Ryan fourth. And Dennis Mickelson fifth. And Parker Retzloff comes out 15th. Let's see if we can get a hold of Parker. Hey, Parker, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Well, 2 stages in a row. So far, you've already, checked those boxes off here to sweep those 2 and now try to go for the checkered flag. What had you held up on pit road?
Yeah, I mean, I got about 18 seconds of damage on that last restart there. So just want to fix it to make sure I had the best car I have at the end of this race, and now get myself about 105 laps to find my way back to the front. So I'm gonna be smart and just not try and charge too hard here and put myself in a bad spot.
All right, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way. Excellent insight. Good strategy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
That, of course, our Stage 2 winner, Parker Retzloff. And we're going to step aside here and pay some bills. It's been a while since we did so. When we come back, Stage 3 will be underway. Jacob Bradley will have control of the field when they go back green flag racing. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Monday Night NASCAR.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second spot, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds.
We got damage on the front end.
Coming back here to Kansas Speedway, as we were in the middle of our break, my God, bad things just happened all over the racetrack as we are under caution. Just the second time for cause tonight. Let's run this all the way back here, and I saw Matt Metler, who silently sits in the broadcast booth and now has what looks to be a modified race car. The 88 of Michael Witt bounces off the wall. Oh! That's horrific. And the nose just slid gently off the front of the 64. Let's go ahead and look at this from Gangler's perspective. Jesus criminy Christmas. The 24 went for a ride. Let's see if we can find the 24 if he's not already in the infield care center.
Start 62, start. Pit boxing 10. 5.
2 accidents happened at once.
2.
Oh.
Right here.
We're going to go one final time here, right to the nose of Metler.
You'll still have minor wheel damage.
There's the wreck. And it was almost okay until right there. One final look. As here they come. Oy. There's something you don't see every day. In fact, let's go to Matt Metler right now. If you'd unmute your microphone, sir.
I got you, Regal.
Buddy, listen, that was a disaster.
Oh. Talking about the wick getting set on a 3 millisecond timer there. I was racing really hard there with the 88. It was a lot of fun.
That's it, go.
And actually, it was kind of more like a three-way battle, I guess, and caught a piece of the wall there, and I thought we were going to be okay until, like you said, additional bad things happened, and then kind of holding on for the ride after that. My car feels like a modified, probably looks like one from your view. We had about 8 minutes of damage there, but a lot of fun out there on the racetrack. Good hard racing. Sucks to be in that one, but sometimes when you're out there giving it all you got, that's going to happen. Byproduct of racing, you know?
Yeah, you definitely don't have the homecoming queen anymore. You definitely
Well, I see my hood take off into outer space. I saw that squid on the hood.
Just
went to the
disappear.
RP lot. Yes, it's gone.
It's fine. It's fine.
Letter 25.
But as Chris Claude would say, stay in it because you don't know how many spots you could possibly pick up. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and ride this out.
You've only lost one lap out of this. That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. But man, that was so much fun, Dave. That was good qualifying effort for me, and I say for me because, well, let's face it, I usually don't make these races.
You know, none of us.
But we're on a streak. I'm on 3 in a row. I qualified my way in. But
hey, listen, you've got a big race coming up Sunday. Let's talk about that quick. After I raced in the Coke 0400 back in August, making my return to the racetrack, you've never hung up the gloves, you're going to make your first start in the Cup Series at Talladega on Sunday. You're going to leave me with Alan Bergen. Thanks. Speaking of not the homecoming queen.
Hey, you know what? I got to shout out Alan because, well, Mike helped me out when you drove the race car, but I am just so ecstatic to come back to the Cup Series, my favorite racetrack, Earnhardt Country. And, man, I got to thank Chris Davis, Sean Rogers, and they've been helping me a lot. And I want to go out there and just mainly have a good time. I want to finish on the lead lap, but I just want to go out and enjoy it and not too much pressure on myself.
Buddy, that was half the fun of me running Daytona. I finished on the lead lap 22nd. I mean, right in the middle of the field. I suddenly didn't feel so insignificant.
When do you ever feel insignificant? You are loved and are highly important, my friend.
Well, I feel insignificant if I go to the doctor and he says I need to eat healthier. Or if I go to the gym and I'm not the most fit person in the room.
Well, all you got to do is go to the produce section and buy bigger cucumbers, buddy.
That's what it is. It's all about the cucumber. All right, brother, you're back Green Flag Racing. Good luck.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
That the voice of Matt Mettler. I'll tell you what, guys, for all of you folks out there listening, the affection that those of us that work at Sim Racing Media have for one another is genuine. I always used to think, watching old clips of, the Rat Pack and things like that back in the 60s, I always thought, it's just an act. But you do really develop a relationship. I mean, when I heard that Matt was going to be allowed to come to Miami, my heart fluttered because there are some people who, one, I haven't shaken their hand in person yet, and I can't wait to do so. Then, of course, you've got those people that you hang out with sometimes more than your own friends and family in real life, which happens to be Mettler for me. And, of course, Matt had the distinct privilege to be alongside the great Tony Trapasso as I did. So we've shared a lot of the same experiences here at Sim Racing Media. And, just a great human being. Oh, crap, you can hear me. Well, I'm going to say it anyway. A great human being and somebody who I consider to be my brother from another mother because this dude is just, in Philly, we would say he is thorough.
Just at the fastest lap. 31.5, 35. Car inside. Car 5 has taken the lead. The water temp is getting high.
Things seem to be getting a little high there for Mettler.
Oh, God.
Bad things happening. Caution comes out. Kavaja Holt just turns into a rocket ship. Let's see what happened here. Kavaja, he got hooked. The 67 is sideways. They just push each other down. Trying to pull up the rest of that replay, and of course now computer wants to get slow. Let's go back here to where Kavaja was. Kavaja drifts up the racetrack and gets hooked by the 67, shoved by John Wilco, double doinked, and now they both go pirouetting down onto the apron. Oh, good God. Maybe a little bit too much too soon, as we're only at lap 111, 90 to go. When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Parker Retzlaff, Jacob Bradley, Trevor Ryan, Gabriel Lafreniere, Mike McConville. That's your top 5. Brandon Minto, Anthony Savignano, Trent Curtis, Tyler Chalk, and Curtis Sawyer. And Matt, I know you can hear me, and I'm just curious what you saw from your perspective, because that could have been a lot worse than what it was.
It was terrifying. I seen it looked like the 00 got maybe tight and slid up the racetrack, and someone sent it in there like grandma's business. Looked like they didn't lift and, put it right in the business end of his race car, and then it was game over from there. Someone went space shuttle status, and there was a lot of smoke. Kind of reminded me of Days of Thunder. Scared the bejesus out of me. I'm just lucky to find a way through that and got our lucky dog here. So now we're back on the lead lap. And try to get some of this damage fixed. The car actually didn't feel that bad, surprisingly. If I can just get a hood back on this thing, I think we'll be all right.
No, perhaps they just have to wait for it to be delivered from Wish.
Or that, too.
New hood on its way to pit road coming from Wish. It could be 6 to 9 months. But it was only $299.
You want to just lay on my car? And
I got it.
Use some Bear Bond?
I'll use some. You'll definitely need some Bear Bond for me. Oh, good Lord.
That gives me an idea for Miami, buddy.
Great. Well, let's hope that nobody brought duct tape with them.
Oh, I'm bringing plenty.
You're going to need plenty. I
We're
really appreciate that aluminum tape that we use in HVAC work.
Oh, the HVAC grade stuff. That's an even better idea.
Love it. It molds and folds.
We'll have to put Jonathan Lee. Oh my God, I can't even say his last name now. I'm having so much fun. Leach. Gonna send him on one of the top of those golf carts, and then we'll just hold it wide open and send it on its way.
I was thinking we should have a golf cart for the racetrack. Last year, Jonathan and I walked from one side of the racetrack to the other during the didn't matter which one it was. I think it was during the Xfinity race.
Did you go through the infield or the perimeter?
Oh no, we went through the infield. But you know, when you're on when you're watching it on TV, you don't feel like it's that big of a facility until you're walking it.
Yep.
And they have this big area with the lake back there, and you can just put your feet up. And I feel like that's where I want to be. They got a lake and a beach.
So if you go through the tunnel, turns 1 and 2 complex, and once you come out the other side, there's actually sometimes there's golf carts, like a shuttle, that'll actually bring you right back over there. Sometimes that's where they have the really good beer and drinks at, back by the pond.
Yeah, I had a blast back there. We walked all that way, and I was very thirsty by the time we got there. And thank God that they had something to drink. Now, it had water in it, but that's triple filtered water mixed with hops and barley. But it was a fabulous experience back at the pond.
Yep, that's where we're going. We're going to the pond.
Park me there. I'll be fine.
Green. All right, going back green flag racing here, buddy.
As we drop down the volume of Mr. Mettler, we go back green flag racing, and Parker Retzlaff runs away from the field already with a great restart. 114 laps in the books. Parker is your leading playoff driver. Mike McConville, Brandon Minto, and Trent Curtis, all here in your top 10. They're your playoff drivers. And only Brandon Minto is the only non-JAR TCR driver, as McConville, Curtis, and Retzlaff all are. Side-by-side battle for the lead breaking out between Jacob Bradley and Parker Retzloff. Bradley just on the left quarter panel of the 5. The Funkaway Chevrolet cranked up pretty hard. He didn't have to come down this last time for pit service, as now Retzloff swings to the inside, gives him a little do-see-do action coming through the tri-oval toward turn number 1. Parker's got a great feel for where the 60 is. He doesn't even touch him, as now he's able, almost as if we're watching him race Darlington, with a double apex in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Parker Retzloff now able to scurry away from the 60 of Jacob Bradley. We look again from above and watch this mess of cars as the 06 Oxmoor Chevrolet, that's Gabriel Lafreniere, he now runs up here in third position, followed by Anthony Savignano in the 50. Here's Brandon Minto, as we're going to go on board with him for the time being. Let's take a look. I mean, there's McConville to the left. He's got the 50 of Savignano in front of him. I mean, he is just absolutely in the thick of it. Parker Retzloff leads the race. Now we go deeper into the field. Let's take a look at Christopher Tate here in the 42. He's starting to work the high side now of Trent Curtis in the 13 and climbs his way into the top 10. Curtis Sawyer in the 03 WeatherTech Chevrolet, he now works over top of the 42. There's a lot of speed there on the high side, folks, but it's a matter of getting to that point. It's a matter of being able to make that work for you. But if you can't stay up there and get all that speed built into the car, you're never going to have the momentum you need to make the passing look as easy as some of these drivers have. We see Eugenio Alonso right now running in 11th position. He gets around Trent Curtis, who now falls into 12th, and it looks like Brock Packard is ready to strap the hairnet on and serve lunch to Trent Curtis as well. And a message from a friend of mine in Florida. Oh, wow. Let's watch the 12 here. Good Lord. All of a sudden, the 06 of Lafreniere sliding backwards through the standings. Watching the 26 of Eugenio Alonso sling it right underneath the 12 of Brandon Minto. He drifts up the racetrack. They don't touch. And it looks like Alonso is now going to have to set sail and go after Mike McConville. Anyway, a friend of mine from Florida, and he works for a Major League Baseball team, so I cannot disclose his name. But he is friends with a few of the Baseball Writers Association of America. And putting Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame is now a useless gesture. He deserved to be in for his accomplishments on the field. The amount of domestic abusers, drug users, and etc. that are already enshrined in the Hall of Fame just makes this situation even more laughable. For a league that is sponsored by DraftKings, FanDuel, and any other number of betting outlets, putting him in Cooperstown is a victory lap you don't deserve. The game has evolved. Its gatekeepers should too. As long as guys like Pete Rose, A-Rod, Roger Clemens, and Barry Bonds aren't in your Hall of Fame, it is a meaningless building. And quite frankly, I agree 1,000% with him. And those are the kind of people that we need working in baseball, in and around America's pastime, and quite frankly, the greatest sport on earth. The Michigan Rocker is watching our race here and also the Monday Night Football game. Of course, featuring the beautiful voices of Joe Buck and Troy Kenneth Aikman, the Hall of Famer out of Henrietta, Oklahoma. Uncle Scott is also cheering on the Lions and Brandon Minto. Speaking of which, we'll peek in here on those games thanks to the magic of Hulu. Right now, the Seahawks and the Lions are a commercial. That's not very helpful. And let's see where the Titans and Dolphins are. Oh, and here are the Seahawks and the Lions. Right now, the Lions lead the Seahawks 21-14 in the third quarter. So not bad there for the Lions. And then as we go over here... Now that's just silly. As we go over here to the Titans-Dolphins game... Titans lead the Dolphins 19-6, so that'll make... Oh, and the Dolphins are going to challenge the play. But that'll make Chris Claude happy. Things have definitely calmed down for the time being on the racetrack. Still a lot of close battles. Here's Brandon Minto trying to hold off the 42 of Christopher Tate. They're both behind the 97 of Tyler Chalk, and Chalk right now holding his own. Not even worried about it. He said, go ahead, make my day, as Parker Retzlaff is now 2.5 seconds over top of Jacob Bradley and 3 seconds ahead of Anthony Savignano. Some of these gaps are really getting wild. As we head back on down here deeper into the field, 12th position, there's Ethan Ball in the Linders 96 machine. He swings just in front of Gabriel Lafreniere, and loosening the 97 of Tyler Chalk was the 42 of Christopher Tate. Let's watch that one more time. The 12 gets by. Christopher Tate comes up and just takes a good bump at the 97. They couldn't do that twice in a row. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Monday Night NASCAR. Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Parker Retzlaff is your race leader. And as we work here on lap 133, we're starting to see some of these drivers showing the age of their tires. Let's pull up that pit strategy here in the middle of your screen. You can see just about everybody's got 40-lap-old tires except for Eugenio Alonso, who stretched that first set out for 103 laps and now has just 20 on his number 26. Also taking a peek at our current conditions, the racetrack is now cooled off to 96 degrees. That's going to tighten things up on the asphalt for sure. So for those guys that were hoping for things to even out and, for the racetrack to tighten up, it finally is. And of course, that's going to put a lot more grip into the racetrack here in the waning laps of this competition. Taking a look at this battle for 11th position now. There's Christopher Tate with Gabriel Lafreniere in hot pursuit. And Lafreniere from north of the border. And that's not what I wanted to do. Lafreniere from north of the border in St. Jude. He now trails Christopher Tate by just about a quarter of a second. 2/10, closing. Ethan Ball now working up closer to Gabriel Lafreniere. I guess he decided he wants to get in on this action. As Curtis Sawyer in the 03 gets ready to split him and tries to go 3 wide, he backs out again wisely. Attaboy. And still 23 cars on the lead lap. That's impressive. Of course, when you have a few cautions, you've got enough drivers, they're able to come in and get that pit service. They don't really have any fall off, as far as timing goes, because everybody's coming in at the same time. So not a bad thing there for them. And we've got another wreck on the racetrack here. 7th caution of the evening. Tyler Chalk and Ethan Ball. This may have been where we just were looking. Oh, the 06 loosens up to 97. Oh. And while we're under caution, we're going to step aside and pay some bills one more time here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Monday Night NASCAR.
gasket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second spot, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh,
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Kansas Speedway, where we're under caution again after what looks like a horrific wreck involving Mikey Mac McConville. And there is nothing but anger going on right now on the racetrack. Mike McConville spinning his wheels down on pit road. Let's take a look at this from the perspective of him, as a matter of fact. And here it was. Watch the 50. The 50 gets a run and clips the 1, spins around and just destroys the 1 car. So that's going to really wreck Mike McConville's playoff run tonight, but he's still got a couple more weeks here. So unfortunately for Mike McConville, that's a rough night. Savignano involved in that one again, and it seems like every time he and McConville get near one another on the racetrack, something bad happens. And I mean, you know, we see that a lot in racing overall. You know, there are some drivers that are just oil and water and they get near one another and bad things happen. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. That means that we'll be going back green flag racing with 52 to go here at Kansas Speedway. It's going to be Jacob Bradley, Trevor Ryan, Anthony Savignano, Trent Curtis, Brock Packard, Nick Hansen, Eugenio Alonso, Brandon Minto, Dennis Mickelson, and Rich Jett. Parker Retzlaff all the way down in 16th position behind Chris Claude. Alexander Gangler runs in 13th. And yeah, Mama Mac gets the 50 again. As we come back into the Geico restart zone, off we go. Jacob Bradley drops the hammer, and we're back under green. Jacob Bradley now gets a good run away from Anthony Savignano in the 18 of Trevor Ryan. The 13 of Trent Curtis, he's going to sit back here. We'll go on board with him for the time being out of Clarence Center, New York. And here he is. Somebody's got to be able to ice their honey buns at some point tonight here with 50 to go. Grab hold and never let go. And I'm not sure about the rest of you, but the Tasty Cake Honey Bun is something just incredibly special. It's delicious. It's sweet. It makes you feel good. First thing in the morning, last thing at night. Tasty Cake Honey Bun, something incredibly special that you never want to let go of. Watching the 5 now start to charge forward. The Funkaway Chevrolet, driven by Parker Retzlaff, he's just behind Brandon Minto now. A lot of playoff drivers here in our top 10. 4 of them, as a matter of fact. Trent Curtis, Parker Retzlaff, Nick Hansen, and Brandon Minto. You can see those 4 drivers. That means that there's 6 drivers that are non-playoff drivers. They've got to be able to grab as much real estate as they can. It's like when you get to the Wawa in the morning and that box of honey buns only has a couple left. You've got to get your hands on them. $155 laps in the books, 45 to go as we hit the line here on the front stretch. Jacob Bradley and Anthony Savignano in a hot-to-trot battle for the lead. Don't look now, but Parker Retzlaff has now gotten his way back up from 16th into 4th. He's just cleared 4 spots since the drop of the green flag here after the 8th caution of the evening, 6th for cause. Jacob Bradley now working his way around Mike McConville, who's got that pug nose look to the 1 car. He's got Anthony Savignano in tow. Trevor Ryan runs in 3rd now. But the Funkaway Chevrolet, as we're going to go on board here with Parker Retzlaff, he's now got the 18 in his crosshairs, and he's going to make it look just this easy as he works the high side. It looks like there's a lot of clean racetrack up here. It's not near as slick on the high side, so that keeps a lot of grip underneath the 5 as long as he can hold it. It's kind of like good work if you can get it. You just don't want to get yourself lost in someone's eyes, that's for sure. Then you wind up being distracted and not paying attention to what you're supposed to be paying attention to. Brock Packard now, he's got his eyes focused just ahead of him He can see this battle going on in front of him. He's got plenty of time here. 40 to go now as the Zephyr Hills, Florida native chases down Trevor Ryan in the 18. We're going to Parker Retzlaff look out the rear, and we can see Trevor Ryan trying to get caught up, but I think that Parker was saving something here for the end of this race, because now with 40 laps to go at the line, it's still anybody's race as the Funkaway Chevrolet is now side by side with Anthony Savignano. Now Dibbs back behind him. Here come our leaders into turn one. We're going to follow them through this lap. Side by side the action between Parker Retzlaff and Anthony Savignano. They go single file here to the backstretch. And there's the 18 trying to challenge the 50. And now Trevor Ryan gets the U.S. Steel Chevrolet Camaro running into third position. Anthony Savignano now starting to fade like the sun. Jacob Bradley still holds a narrow lead over top of Parker Retzlaff, who's now within 2/10 of a second. We're just about 35 to go here at Kansas Speedway. Dave Riegel with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight as we cover the opening race of the round of 12 here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series League. And folks, these drivers have been working all night long. I mean, you can't discount the fact that they're out here plugging as hard as they can to get her done. Lots of tributes starting to come out for Pete Rose and his passing. Of course, in other news and in other excitement, right now the Lions leading the Seahawks 35-20, and the Titans leading the Dolphins 22-12. The Major League Baseball postseason playoff picture has now come into full focus. And here's what it's going to look like in the wild card round this week. It's going to be the Mets and the Brewers in one series, and the Braves and the Padres in the other. So the Phillies are going to have a choice of who they're going to host in South Philadelphia in the NLDS, whether it's going to be the Mets or the Brewers, and quite frankly, I'd rather see the Mets. And the Dodgers are either going to face the Braves or the Padres, and I have more faith, quite frankly, obviously, I hope for a Phillies-Dodgers NLCS, but something tells me we're going to see a Phillies-Braves NLCS here in the senior circuit. And in the American League over there, they've got the Detroit Tigers and the Houston Astros. They're going to be playing each other in the wild card round, and the Kansas City Royals and the Baltimore Orioles going to be playing each other. I would really like to see an I-95 World Series. The Phillies, the Orioles, it's got some real potential to sell a lot of tickets, as we're now 30 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway. Braves the only games in town today, as they were makeups from double headers. So they were able to get those in today. And Parker Retzlaff has gotten around Jacob Bradley and takes back over the lead that he held for so long earlier. He cleared the first two stages, and now with 30 to go in stage number 3, Parker Retzlaff has taken over the lead. And let's just see that pass for the lead. We see Bradley sliding down. Parker gets a good burst of wind and just slides right around Jacob. Checking out minor league baseball playoffs, looks like the Montgomery Biscuits won their playoff series against the Biloxi Shuckers in the Southern League South Division. Championship series was won by Birmingham by the Barons over the Montgomery Biscuits. In the Eastern League, the championship series was won by the Erie Seawolves as they beat the Somerset Patriots 2-0 in the series. And in the International League in AAA baseball, the Omaha Storm Chasers beat the Columbus Clippers 2-1. Of course, hockey season right around the corner for the rest of the world, as this is one of the best times of the year. Of course, we've got hockey starting up next week. We've got the NFL in full swing. NASCAR playoffs are in effect. Baseball playoffs are just getting underway. I mean, good Lord. All things sports are coming together, and we're almost in basketball season as well. 22 laps to go. Parker Retzlaff leads this race by just about 0.4 of a second over top of Trevor Ryan. 1.6 seconds now as he's extended that lead tremendously. Trevor Ryan holding off Anthony Savignano. And Rich Jett right now out of Schwanksville, Pennsylvania, now works to the inside of the 99 of Nick Hansen. He thinks better of it and backs out of the way here in the double natural. And here comes Dennis Mickelson. "19 laps to go, and here we are, Dennis Mickelson getting around Nick Hansen here. Brock Packard now leading Eugenio Alonso as Alonso swings it out of turn 4, but he doesn't have enough right now to try to get up and around Packard. And sitting high, wide, and handsome for the time being is Parker Retzlaff in the number 5. It goes Retzlaff, Ryan, Savignano, Bradley Tate, Curtis Packard, Alonso, Minto, and Mickelson. Mama Mac down here still cheering on the one, even though that he's had to put it pit side for some repairs, so now he's down a couple of laps, and that's not very good. And he's at this point down a handful of laps. And just to build off of what one of my friends said earlier, this is almost an empty condolence from Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball extends its deepest condolences to Pete Rose's family, his friends across the game, and the fans of his hometown of Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Montreal, and beyond who admired his greatness, grit, and determination on the field of play. May he rest in peace. Well, you know what? That's BS. Baseball doesn't want him to rest in peace. They just want him to go away because for the last 35 years, they have done nothing but try to keep Pete Rose away. And I'm sure Bart Giamatti, when he banned Pete Rose, didn't want to. He didn't really have to, but sure enough, he did. And all that did was just create an entire generation of conspiracy theorists. With 14 laps to go, things are starting to really heat up deeper in the field. We can see Rich Jett here in the double natural out of Schwanksville. He looks to the high side now of the 72 of Dan Morgan. This race is starting to get more strung out than the line at a methadone clinic. Drivers starting to give each other almost too much room as Eugenio Alonso, I say that, and Eugenio Alonso finally getting around Brock Packard. They go side by side, and as they go door handle to door handle crossing the start-finish line, Eugenio is going to steal away 7th. Nope, he's not. He still can't get around him. Watching this battle very closely, as soon as Brock Packard went up the racetrack, that dirty air coming off the left rear loosened up Eugenio Alonso viciously. As now Dennis Mickelson gets around Nick Hansen, they start to do battle here with 11 to go. Parker Retzlaff with a commanding lead now, 3.87 seconds. And now with 9 laps to go, we go under caution. Eugenio Alonso went off track here. Let's see what happened. And it looks like perhaps the 26. Two cars cannot occupy the same space at the same time. I definitely call that a racing deal. Well, everybody's going to wind up coming down pit road. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
to get caught and defend. He's got the outside line for the second spot, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Live back here at Kansas Speedway as we are 5 laps to go. It's going to be 4 to go at the line when the green flag flies. Parker Retzlaff, Trevor Ryan, Chris Claude, that's your top 3. Chris Claude is in the top 3. And I think, just for argument's sake, Chris needs to lay the hammer down and get it done tonight. The iRacing.com pace car coming into turn number 3 as we take a look at these drivers rolling past. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Here they all come. Toward the start-finish line, we hit the Geico restart zone, and we are back underway. 4 laps to go. Chris almost immediately gets punted out of the way. Caution coming out almost immediately. Dennis Mickelson wrecks. Let's take a look and see what this might be. Oh, Dennis Mickelson gets together here with the 99. Looks like Dennis just got loose. So, folks, what that's going to do is trigger NASCAR overtime. That means that when we go back green flag racing, we will be 2 laps to go. We'll freeze right now at 3 to go. It's going to be Retzlaff, Trevor Ryan, Anthony Savignano, Jacob Bradley, Trent Curtis, Brock Packard, Brandon Minto, Christopher Tate, Alexander Gangler, and Chris Claude. That's your top 10. When the green flag flies, the popsicle sticks go in the air. We have 2 laps to go. If the caution should come out before the white flag, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. However, if we get to the white flag, the next flag wins the race or finishes the race, whether that flag is yellow or checkered. If the yellow flag should come out after the white flag is waved, the field will freeze, and we will go under caution and finish that way. Coming down the backstretch, drivers got to check those gloves one more time, make sure that those harnesses are tightened down. As Parker Retzlaff going to have control of the field when we go green flag racing. Will be 2 laps to go. And green flag in the air, NASCAR overtime underway. Popsicle sticks are in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Take a look at Chris Claude here trying to get back up into the top 10. He slides back ever further. That opens the door for Parker Retzlaff and company to go single file. It's Retzlaff, Savignano, and Ryan. Going on board here with Jacob Bradley as we are in the waning lap now. We come out of turn 4, the popsicle sticks go down, the white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Here we go one final time. Let's watch Anthony Savignano try to battle it out with Parker Retzlaff from high above the racetrack in our blimp cam. The 18 of Trevor Ryan trying to hold off Jacob Bradley. And here's Anthony Savignano waiting for some kind of aero push or help from the 18. It's not going to come. He's going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. The question is, does he have enough? No, he doesn't. He's going to have to settle for second position as Parker just slides across the start-finish line, and Parker Retzlaff wins here at Kansas Speedway. He's followed on the podium by Anthony Savignano and new fast lap holder Trevor Ryan. Bear with me here as we get ready to see if we can talk to our podium finishers. With us now in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth is Parker Retzlaff, your race winner for the evening. Hey, Parker, it's Dave. You got me?
I got you.
Buddy, listen, you did exactly what you wanted to do. You swept the first two stages and then brought home the checkered flag. It's got to be nice when you can almost, claim your own destiny.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna. I don't say it was just a dominating win. I had to battle there with Trevor and Jacob and Anthony there on that green white checkered. He was a lot stronger than I expected him to be, and I actually thought I lost the race off too on the white flag lap there. I just got so tight, and I thought I was gonna have to lift, and I think he ended up getting free also. So it was a great battle with those guys tonight, and I'm happy to be locked into the round of 8. We had I feel like a really good car. I don't think my teammates finished very good, but I just have to thank everyone at Funkaway and Team Rogue and Legacy for everything they do, and we'll go to next week.
All right, man, listen, we appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. Of course, you already got your shout-outs in, so we will cut you loose and see you next week.
Thank you.
That, the voice of your race winner, Parker Retzlaff, driver of the number 5 Funkaway Chevrolet. And next up here on the podium going to be Anthony Savignano, driver of the number 50. He finished second position tonight. Hey, Anthony, it's Dave. You got me?
Oh, I got you, Dave. How you doing?
Good, but listen, it's been a rough night on the racetrack. I heard people shouting and screaming on race radio. What happened down there tonight?
Well, I'm going back to try and find it right now, but I ran a pretty clean race all the way through until me and McConville got together on that late restart, and I could have sworn it was netcode. I finally just found it, so I'm going to take a look at it right now as we speak. But I made that move 4 times prior to that cleanly, and so that's why it felt like I could definitely do it again, and I felt comfortable making that move. So it felt like netcode when he started turning, and now that I'm looking at it, I had a whole 4 feet of clearance between my bumper and his, so it definitely was netcode that turned him, which kind of sucks because he always thinks that I'm the root of every problem that he has, but that's just because he sucks and doesn't have anybody else to blame but himself. So I just want to thank Mike for that one, so you're welcome for not ruining your playoffs and still blaming that on me. But anyways, clean race, good throughout, and that last restart, I almost had Parker. I just didn't really know where to go. I got right to his back bumper, and I knew he was going to go to the bottom, so I figured I got to try the top. I'm not going to, try and bump and run him out of the way at 1.5 miles. I'm not the best at that yet, so I figured I might as well just try and wrap the wall as I did for the last 50 or 60 laps, and I couldn't hang on to it. Didn't work, and I held on to second place, so I'm happy, but I'm just here trying to play spoiler.
Yeah, man, listen, great insight tonight. Now, before we cut you loose, who do you need to tip your helmet to, and who helped you get it done here on the 50 team?
The boys in the Bandit Racing stable, of course. We got a driver in each of the playoffs, so I think as a team we, flipped the switch and turned it on there in the last 10 weeks or 8 weeks of the season there, closing out the summer break. And so we got me in the Truck Series and Alex over here in the Xfinity, and Kavaja killing it up in the Cup Series. So 3 playoff drivers, thanks to the Bandit boys, and you guys up in the booth, of course, Dave. Everything you do is awesome.
All right, man, listen, we appreciate the kind words. Congratulations on the P2 finish. We'll see you next week at Talladega.
Thank you.
That, the voice of Anthony Savignano. He's your second-place finisher tonight. And last but certainly not least on the podium, is going to be Trevor Ryan, driver of the number 18 U.S. Steel Chevrolet. Hey, Trevor, it's Dave. You got me?
I got you, Dave.
Well, here you sit after all of the dust has settled now. You finished in third position. How does that feel after knowing who you were competing against and what you had to get through?
It feels pretty good. We were close all night. Never felt like I could really get to the lead. I could get close, but I was just lacking whenever I needed to pass cars on the bottom. But overall, I'm pretty happy to come out of here with third.
Yeah, third is definitely better than 35th, that's for sure. I mean, listen, it was a long night for everybody, and next week we go to Talladega, another long night. I mean, the strategy changes on a super speedway anyway, and everybody's going to say they got to just try to survive. What say you, and before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and tip your helmet to for helping you get it done here on the 18 team?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Talladega. I think it's going to be a fun race, one of those strategy races. Do you want to be at the front? Do you want to be at the back? Where do you think the wrecks are going to happen? Are they going to be at the front, the middle? Who knows, right? It's kind of a crapshoot. That's part of what makes it fun. But so I just want to thank kind of my friends, family. I want to thank you, everybody at SRM that is able to put on these broadcasts. It's awesome to go back and watch these. I want to thank Chris for running the league. It's a fun place to come and race these full-length Xfinity Series races and do what we watch on Saturday and Sunday. And it's just happy to be here, that's all.
All right, brother, listen, we appreciate the kind words here at SRM, and we will see you next week at Talladega Superspeedway.
Sounds like a plan to me. Hopefully we'll be talking then.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. That the voice of Trevor Ryan, who finished in third position tonight here on the podium. Before we get out of here, we want to take one final look at our race results. It's been a barn burner tonight here at Kansas Speedway. Parker Retzlaff brings home the checkered flag, and he is followed on the podium by Trevor Ryan and Jacob Bradley. As we move on down through here, Parker Retzlaff was followed by Anthony Savignano and Trevor Ryan. Jacob Bradley and Trent Curtis finish in 4th and 5th, rounding out your top 5, while Brandon Minto, Brockton Packard, Christopher Tate, Eugenio Alonso, and Ron Fitting make up the rest of your top 10. Sylvain Joly and Alexander Gangler finish in 11th and 12th, while Dan Morgan and Chris Claude finish 13th and 14th. Rich Jett, Dennis Mickelson, Ethan Ball, Derek Bacorn, Nick Hansen, and John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, they make up your top 20, while Mikey Mac McConville out of South Jersey finishes in 21st. 22nd goes to Jeremy Brown and Sam Bolin in 23rd, with Tyler Chalk, Gabriel Lafreniere, Curtis Sawyer, Matt Metler, and Kavaja Holt, along with Michael Witt and Richard Pruitt. They make up your top 30. We see here in 31st, Keith Black with Zach Osborne just behind. Zachary Vaughn and Bennett Allen finished 33rd and 34th, with Claude Ferlin, Randall Watkins, Tyler Divinanzo, and Michael Pilardi registering as having finished in 38th. So obviously a timing and scoring issue there with the computer system, but those guys there, they still tried to put on a good show no matter how much fighting they did. They just couldn't get it done. And folks, I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications for Sim Racing Media right here on YouTube.com. And for myself, Dave Regal, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, I just want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.